Good afternoon, everyone. As you've heard already from Rosemary, my name is Kirk Aranda, and I'm the youth organizer for Youth Organizing, Disabled and Proud, or as some of you may know us by YO. We're all very excited today to have you all here as a part of our AT and Disabled Student Services in College webinar. We have a really awesome group of YO volunteers and members who've been involved with the disabled student programs and services on their college campuses, and they'll be sharing all of their knowledge with you today. So for those of you who are not familiar with YO, before we get started, YO is Youth Organizing, Disabled and Proud, and it is all about connecting, organizing, and educating youth with disabilities, ages 16 to 28, all throughout the state of California. So I just want to thank you all again for joining us today. I will be the moderator, as you can see me right there, for the discussion today. And once again, my name is Kirk. I'm the youth organizer for YO here in Sacramento at the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers, and I've been involved in YO for about 4 years now. So really briefly, I want to introduce you to the panel, though, that you'll be speaking to today, or that you'll be interacting with. So I want to start us off with Blake. If you could tell us your name, Blake, the city you live in, the college you go to, and how long you've been involved in YO, and how you are involved in YO.
Hi, my name is Blake. As you can tell, I live in Nevada, California. I've been involved with YO for about 7 months now, and I am a youth volunteer, and I work at Marin Center for Independent Living. That's what it says.
Very cool, Blake. And what college do you go to?
College of Marin.
Very cool. Cool. Well, thank you, Blake. So Kristin will be joining us in a little bit. She's almost out of class, so she'll be hopping on the webinar soon. But just a quick, brief info about Kristin. She's been a YO volunteer with us now for about, say, 4 months. And she volunteers at Freed Independent Living Center up in Grass Valley, so Northern California, pretty close to me. And moving on to Jessica. Do you want to tell us a little about yourself, Jessica?
Hi, my name is Jessica Jimenez. I'm a YO volunteer. I've been volunteering for 6 months now. I am out here. I was in West Covina, and I'm now in the Claremont office for service centers for independent living and independent life. And I I went to Cal State Long Beach. Yeah, that's it.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Jessica. And now for our final panel speaker, Alexa. So Alexa is a YO member, been a YO member for quite a few years now. And Alexa recently graduated from Sac State with her bachelor's and is now back for her master's. So just a brief overview for today. I wanted to go over what we're going to be talking about. Today we'll be talking about disabled students programs and services, also known as DSPS, on many college campuses across the state of California. For those of you that are not familiar with DSPS, this will be a fantastic and awesome webinar to be a part of, as each panel member has a ton of experience working with, being involved in, and receiving services from DSPS. They'll be answering several different questions today about DSPS and what they do and provide. But for a brief overview of what they are, DSPS is a program that provides support services and educational accommodations to students with disabilities in college. You may be wondering, what DSPS offices may provide, and without talking too much about it though, they provide opportunities for individuals to succeed in their education. They're open to students with all disabilities, whether it's physical, medical, or learning disabilities. And a few really quick examples before we hop into the panel discussion is services that students can benefit from is having extra time to take on exams, having a note taker with them in class, or having any type of assistive technology, such as maybe like a live scribe pen, which takes notes while you're writing, and then allows you to go back and listen to the notes later to make sure that you caught everything. It's a really cool pen. If you haven't heard about it, I definitely recommend looking into it. Or other assistive technology, such as Dragon Dictation, which is software that you can use on your computer and type so you speak. And those are just a few of many different options that they can provide to each student. So without further ado, I would love to jump into the questions that each panel member will be asking or answering today. So first question, and Blake, I'd love for you to answer this one. How does DSPS work, and how do you go about getting your accommodation? And what are the necessary steps taken to get connected to DSPS?
DSPS typically works by first going by the program office and either giving them either medical evidence or academic evidence of your disability, i.e. if you have one, or 504 plan, or doctor's notes, or something that is proof of your disability, and then from there you will actually fill out a form requesting specific accommodations.
Okay, very cool, Blake. Anything else you'd like to share, or are you all good?
That is pretty much like, yeah.
Awesome.
That was
summed
it.
Up pretty well. Oh yeah. Very cool. Alrighty. I want to move on to our next question then, and this question I'd love to direct towards you, Jessica. The question is, are there any differences between disabled student programs and services, DSPS, which is what we're talking about today, or disability student services, DSS? It's a pretty common question that a lot of people might be wondering.
That's fine. The differences, there are not that many differences, but I mean, the programs, the DSS and the DSPS, they both have mental health programs, and they both have certain programs like that, but within the university settings, they go into more detail about those settings. So I know the DSPS has high-tech services, but just like the DSS, they go into more detail with those settings. They get more in detail with the technology. They give students more support with the resources. Just because I worked at the DSS, and I remember working with students and learning about the different resources that they had for certain accommodations that they needed, and it was actually really helpful to know that there were different kinds of resources that they had at the university setting that they did not offer at the community college area, and they actually enjoyed it a lot more, and they liked it a lot. And that's all I can say.
Okay, very cool, Jessica. Thank you for clarifying that, because like I mentioned earlier, it's It's a pretty common question because they're both similar, but that question does come up. So thank you.
Yeah.
So moving on, moving on to the next question, though, Jessica. I'm coming right back at you. What are some of the accommodations that you have requested, and how have they contributed to your success in college? But also, what are some accommodations you've requested that didn't work out?
Some of the accommodations that I have requested that have worked out for me, well, and I can just answer like the ones that were successful and then weren't successful. Okay. Well, the ones that were successful for me were the time. I got extended time, and that was actually very helpful when I started the university, because when I went into Cal State Long Beach, I did not have an IEP going in, but it was actually very helpful because it was very helpful in the sense that that extended time was very nerve-wracking. The way I took tests, I was stressed out, and I didn't know I had just those different accommodations, but the time was actually very useful in a later term when I got diagnosed with a learning disability also. The one that...
And Jessica, to clarify...
Yeah.
To clarify, Jessica, for the extended time, you mean extended time on tests?
Yes, extended time on tests. I mean, we would get, I think for 60 minutes within the, like, depending on how long your class was, you'd get time and a half, and it depended on what time and a half was. If you got 15 minutes, you got a certain, whatever time and a half was, if it was 50 minutes for a class, a lecture, or a class that was worth those 2-hour classes. I think people that have 2-hour classes in the afternoon, they still get time and a half. If you're a disabled student, you still get that time and a half. It is your right as the disabled student to get that time and a half. And then when it came to finals, you don't get time and a half. You get a longer extended time because they make those finals a little bit harder. And usually they were 3 hours. From what I remember from working there, you get 3 hours on an exam, or a little bit longer, because some tests were, or some classes were more than 3 hours long because of the time and a half was worth more than 3 hours long, and people were in there not taking naps, but they took food because they knew that the distressor was just really great for them, and like it was really stressful taking a test, but you knew you were going to be in there for so long. People took food. But that was the successful thing that I thought. When I took tests, and even when I worked there, seeing people's faces so relaxed. But something that I did not like an unsuccessful accommodation, I did say was when I tried using a smart pen. They did not have that accommodation for it written out yet, but those smart pens are when you have a pen that records for you, or a smart pen or a recorder. Many professors don't like using recorders yet, and I really think that they need to let go of their ego a little bit, because some professors that I had were very lenient. They allowed it. when I tried using my smart pen, it was when I got diagnosed with my disability, my learning disability. I had gone, it was my 4th year diagnosed with a learning disability, and she was just really, I was a women's studies major my 4th year. I was already almost done with college. I went in 5.5 years, and she kind of was just like, oh no, I'm sorry, you cannot use your use your pen. And I had to retake her course a 2nd year. Oh, I said my 4th year. It was actually my 5th year, and that was the last class I needed. And her class was actually was the only class that I needed to pass that major. And the following year she didn't allow it, and she just wanted her. Didn't allow it because at first she allowed it the 2nd time. I took it, but then there was issues in the course where she was asking for accommodations, and she was just being really strict because she didn't want what was getting said within the course to come back and just screw her over. And I just thought that we had surpassed it. Me and her had surpassed the recording in the class, and at least the 2nd time. And many of the times, like, we had to actually get a full written-out accommodation. And me and the disabled students kind of were just like, you know, me and the disabled students are kind of like, you know, we kind of just need to fill out a form. Make a form, because for future students, it's not fair to the students that it's happening to now. And it was a big issue. And I kind of was hoping that we had surpassed it. But yeah, that was the very unsuccessful one. Okay, yeah, I'm good.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Thank you for sharing that. And everybody, I wanted to welcome Kristin, our other panel speaker, to the call. Kristin, I just heard you hop on.
Yeah, glad to be on.
So also, for the same question, I wanted to ask Alexa here. What are some of the accommodations that you have requested and how they contribute to your success, and what hasn't worked?
Alexa said, my accommodations that worked for me, my note taker, and extra time on the test. And she also got a private room. So she had to fight with them to get her own aid to help on the test. They were like, but we are aid for you. But won't let me aid for you. Understand me. They told her that they had aid for her, but she told them that would they be able to understand her speech, and she said that she doubts that they'd be able to understand what they're saying. I did not want to fail, but yes. She didn't want to fail the test. I'm sorry. So she finally was able to bring her aid into the test room. I don't recall a conversation that did not work for me. She does not recall any accommodations that did not work for her. I did tell them what I was. Because she just told them what she wanted.
Nice, very cool. That's just straight to the point.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But I did not like how sad She said she did not, or she does not like the fact that Sac State does not offer a PE for them, or for her.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that, though, Alexa. And Kristin, it was perfect timing when you came on the call. I want to ask you the same question. What were some of the accommodations that you requested and worked out, but what has not worked out?
Well, I have a lot of different ones that pretty much all worked out. So when I first began going to Sierra College, which was about 7 years ago, I was going in high school. I had a bit of a reading comprehension problem, and I still do. Okay, so in the beginning, I had a book audio converter, which transferred the book into audio so I could listen to it. It didn't quite work out for me, but I'm glad they had that option. And then I had the option to sit in the front of the classroom because it was easier for me to read the board, be next to the teacher if I had questions. So that helped. And now I use a recorder, audio recorder for all the lectures and classes because I would get so anxious that I wouldn't remember what had happened in the class. And someone would ask me what happened, you know, what did you learn, and I wouldn't remember because I was so anxious during class to really get the information. So I had a recorder, and then also I have note takers, which is very helpful to take notes because of my anxiety. And sometimes the teacher would even send me a slideshow, a PowerPoint slideshow of what they lectured on, and that helps a lot too. I have longer test times, and I would take that either at the library or DSPS. And I would really like taking it at the library, but they eventually kind of outruled it. They said DSPS couldn't watch over you. You could be getting answers from somebody and such, but I don't like the really quiet rooms where there's no sound. And I like the library, but eventually I have to take all my tests at DSPS. And one good thing was that when I had my physical disability 2 or 3 years ago, when I finally got the chance to walk again from being paralyzed, I had the electric chairs that you can go around, zooming around on the campus because I couldn't walk around. There's so much. They're so big. So that helped. And then also in the rain, so I wouldn't fall in the rain and slip. So that chair helped me. And one more thing to mention quickly was that I had a teacher who was really nice with accommodations. I was in a pottery class, ceramics, and bending over a lot was really hard on my back. And so the teacher gave me a new chair. He got a special wheel that can go up and down to my height, so I wouldn't have to bend over. And he was really nice. One thing was a teacher for my singing class. I had written down that I couldn't stand for a long time or sit for a long time, and so the teacher didn't realize or take into my perspective when I had to sit down, every so minutes, and she's all saying, okay, now stand up and take deep breaths and do this and that, and then I had to sit down, and she didn't quite like that. But overall, I've had a good experience with my accommodations.
Cool. Thank you, Kristin, for that. Thank you. So, Blake, I wanted to ask you, besides DSPS providing programs and services in the classroom, what are some other services that they can possibly provide on campus as well?
In my case, they help a lot with physical accessibility, being in a wheelchair and not being able to open doors on my own. A lot of the doors at my college weren't, they didn't have electric door opener, so DSPS was able to help me with that, as well as accessibility in the classroom, you know, having a place to park where I could see.
Thank you, Blake. All right, moving on to the next question. And Alexa, I wanted to bring this question to you. Can you share with us how the DSPS can assist you in receiving different types of assistive technology and accommodations in the classroom?
Well, yeah. Well, they can take your book into an audio book.
You can turn your book into an audio book.
They can also put your book on a CD-ROM.
They can also put your book on a CD-ROM.
So you have it on your computer.
So you can have it on your computer.
Also, I bet that your mother will send it every class.
Plus, she had a special place to park her wheelchair in every class.
Very cool. Thank you, Alexa. Kristin, same question to you, actually. Are there any other different ways that Alexa hasn't expressed that DSPS can assist you in receiving different types of assistive technology and accommodations in the classroom?
Other than what I use, it's nice they have a big desk at the front where a wheelchair can go, and it's nice and big. They have lots of table room, and you can move it up and down too, the table, for the height. And I don't really know of any other things off the top of my head, but
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So this next question is going to be a question for all you guys. Could you please share a personal experience or stories involving DSPS and getting accommodations? Blake, would you like to go first?
Sure. Mine involves getting physical access to a building I had class in. You know, the building was built in the early 1970s, before the ADA was even thought of, and hasn't been updated much since, and the doors were extremely heavy, and I'm sure, as you can imagine, it wasn't the easiest building to get in and out of. So, my DSPS counselor actually had a fully modern, lightweight electric door placed on the building mid-semester, so I could get in the building. It was actually quite a project.
Thank you, Blake. So overall, you would say your experience with DSPS has been pretty positive?
It was, because I would have to wait sometimes for them to put the automatic door in, but it was great.
Great. Definitely glad to hear that then. Cool. Thank you for sharing that then, Blake. Jessica, would you like to share a personal experience or story involving a DSPS and accommodation?
Maybe. No. Okay. Yeah, I've had my share of experiences with DSS or DSPS. I've actually gone to their offices. But my personal experiences with DSS have been pretty neutral. I've had ups and downs with the disabled student services. Actually working there, actually I'll start off from the beginning. I actually went there because I needed services. I've never had an IEP, so I needed services, and the advisor was really great to me. And he gave me a job when I was like a freshman going into sophomore year, and he was actually really great. He was really great. He got me a job at the Disabled Student Services, and since like when I got the job my sophomore year, I got to see not only the disabled side, but like the working side of working with disabled students. And me being a student, it would be different. Like it'd be weird for me because I got to see how it was when students needed services, and it's not so much when they were denied the services, but when they didn't know how to ask. Because the guy that hired me, I had 3 different bosses. I had the one that was always there, he was the academic advisor, and the actual boss, the boss man. And the academic advisor hired me. So the one that was always there, she kind of didn't really do anything. All she did was like, she looked up magazines, had different, she was hired after after getting her BA. And I wasn't sure if she had a disability, but she would always gossip with the staff, and the staff didn't really have her directed students. Student assistants didn't have disabilities themselves. I was the only one hired with a disability. But the students that would go and see me or go and see us loved coming to me because I had a disability. I was the go-to girl because I knew how to talk to the students. So my experience there was kind of great. But to answer your question, my personal experience, it was kind of weird. But for accommodation, I kind of already explained my accommodation. but yeah. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Jessica.
I'm done.
Kristin, same question to you. Do you have a personal experience?
No problem.
Or a story involving DSPS and getting accommodation?
Yeah, kind of referring back to what I spoke about, the teacher who was really nice and giving me accommodations in my pottery ceramic class. He had an injury himself, a spinal injury of some sort, but he wasn't visibly disabled, but I guess he kind of understand what problems I had with my back being, I can't be in certain chairs, and he was just really nice and you know, thought about me and suggested about the wheel that goes up and down. So for handicapped or need it higher or lower. So that was really nice for him taking initiative and giving me what I wanted without me exactly having to ask every minute. And then let's see. Oh, there was a couple of years ago. There was a receptionist at the DSPS office who just didn't understand people who are disabled. She wasn't really considerate, and she didn't understand my disability and how I needed different sorts of accommodations, and she would just be the one who okay, I'll make the appointment for you. Okay, there. She was just doing appointments, but I didn't feel welcomed or that anyone that was really caring for us, looking out for her students or her, the students of his school. And so that made things a bit tense in the office, and yeah, but now they have a new office, and they were replaced with two nice people who are really helpful and ask you questions. And so it's really to get a good, if you want to get into details about DSPS, you need to have a good, welcoming entrance. And so there's been up and down, but those are my stories and for personal.
Okay, it sounds like overall it's been pretty good though. That's awesome though, Kristin. Very cool. To finish off this question though, Alexis, I want to ask you the same question. Any personal experiences getting accommodations?
Yeah. They are more fast.
They're really fast at getting me a note taker. I went on a Friday. And I had a note taker by my next class.
Wow.
That's awesome. I'm very glad to hear that.
The only obstacle what I already told you about how they didn't allow me in. I got it at my but
the only obstacles that I had was what I told you guys earlier, was the fact that they weren't allowing me to have my aid in the test room, but I fought for it and they let me have it.
I got extra time on it.
And I got extra time on my test.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Alexa. Thank you. So we're going to move on to the next question. And Jessica, I wanted to direct this towards you. What do you feel is important for students to know about DSPS or when transitioning to college that we haven't talked about already? I think we might have lost Jessica, actually. So Alexa, I wanted to direct this question to you as well, too. But what do you feel is important for students to know about DSPS or when transitioning to college that we haven't touched on already?
I believe it's very important for you for yourself. Only remember that you are the only ones that know what you need.
I believe that it is very important for you to stand up for yourself and what you believe in. Remember that you are the only ones who know what you need and nobody else does.
Cool. Thank you, Alexa. Definitely. So we will actually move on then to the next question. And Blake, I wanted to direct this to you. What do you wish you had known going into college?
I wish I had known that DSPS covers all aspects aspects of college. It's not just the academics, it's the physical aspects. It's the, if you need your textbook spiral bound, they can do that. If you need adaptive software, they can do that as well. So it's a much wider program that actually appears on first glance.
Okay. Thank you, Blake. Alexa, I want to direct this question to you as well, too. What do you wish you'd known going into college?
I knew this before God, I was
I wish I knew that I had to stand up for myself because not everyone knows what accommodations you need to succeed in college.
I knew that I was
And I learned this after getting all F's in my first semester of college.
Well, that's definitely a way to go about it. Okay, thank you, though, Alexa. So, going on to our last question, actually, what DSPS services would you like to see improved on for future students? And this is a question I have directed to all you guys. So, Blake, do you want to start us off?
Sure. The only thing I would really like to see improved is disability awareness, because at College of Marin, the professors were always willing to help, but they didn't always know how to help. So I just felt that they received a little bit more additional training that would really help them out.
Cool, thank you, Blake. Kristin, what would you like to see improved on for future students with DSPS services?
What Blake mentioned was, I'm following on that because definitely awareness of what, not just disabled people, but just, you know, the general students, what they can have available to them is not, I think the word maybe disability kind of scares people away, thinking, oh, only disabled people can get help, and you know, and get these accommodations where I'm sure people could, you know, go in and ask questions about that, like how they can get services and help. And it would be really nice if they had maybe not an event, but like host it like a booth or something, you know, for during the first week of school about DSPS. Because I don't see anything, you know, walking around. They don't really appear. They don't advertise about accommodations and what it's like to be maybe disabled, or what your options are. Even maybe if you can't get into DSPS or whatnot, just awareness of what is available to students and their rights and how you can get help. That's the main I would like to see.
Okay, thank you, Kristin. Thank you. So, Alexa, same question to you. What would you like to see improved on for future students?
I would like to get more book out so that also has the ability do not take everything for you. But with that, it was more of something.
I would like to see more disabled counselors that also have disabilities themselves, so they can relate more to the students. I believe if we had that, we would be more accommodated to our needs.
That's a great way to end it, Alexa. Very great way to end it. And just really quickly, Jessica, are you on the line still? All right, I think we lost Jessica still, but like I said, Alexa, great way to end it with that question. So it brings us to just about the end of our presentation, actually, everybody. So right now it's time for questions or comments. So if anybody has any questions or comments for all of our panel speakers, we'd love to hear from you guys. It looks like there was a question by Silk Brendel Evan. What assistive technology is covered by DSPS? Any of the three of you want to cover that question? Blake, Kristin, or Alexa?
I'll cover it. Usually it involves any software program that you can think of, maybe a headset if it comes with the software, but in my experience, 99% of the time it's software. DSPS either already has it or will cover it.
Cool, thank you, Blake. Did that answer your question, Silk Brendel Evans? Okay. Was there anything else you could elaborate on that, maybe Kristin or Alexa too, or did Blake kind of cover it? And they're also asking, Blake, is there anything else that they cover for assistive technology besides software?
Can you possibly give me an example of what you're looking for?
What kind of example are you looking for, Silk Brendel Evan? And they could be referring to some, like accommodations for visually impaired.
Yes, they do.
Or hearing. What are some examples for those? Do you know of any examples of
I don't know, but I can't think of any reason why they wouldn't.
Okay. Do you know of any speech-generating devices? And then Kristin or Alexa, if you guys want to jump in as well.
This is Kristin, and I think another, I don't know if we're talking about that, but there was the device that I used to have a textbook read out loud to me. I don't know if that's what we're talking about, and it's not every textbook, but they have like CDs of some sort, and it reads it out loud to you.
Kirk, I'm here, so what was your question?
We had a question from Silk Brendel Evan of what kind of assistive technology is covered by DSPS, and specifically accommodations for individuals or hard of hearing or visual or any kind of speech generating devices as well.
I know that the disabled student services, they have like a deaf and hard of hearing program. Like I know some schools offer that. I don't know if all universities offer that, but I know some schools offer that. I'm not sure if if any community colleges offer that. I'm pretty sure that they might offer a certain program, or they put it in like deaf and hard of hearing. Because I know when I was looking up online, they offer a certain program for deaf and hard of hearing. As I recall, I know that some schools offer it. They have to go out and look for what schools offer it. And it's not just like disabled student services. It's also the DSPS also.
Okay, very cool, Jessica. Thank you. Does that kind of answer your question, Silk Brendel Evan? Awesome, awesome. Does anybody else have any other questions for Jessica, Blake, Alexa, or Kristin? All right, well, it looks like we probably have no other questions, so I will wrap this up actually. But if you do have any other questions, we would love for you to get connected to any of us that have been on this webinar today, or to Yo in general. You can contact us at our toll-free line, which is 866-296-9753, or you can email me at Kirk, K-I-R-K, like Captain Kirk, at cfilc.org, or you can email any of the participants on the webinar as well too. You can contact me and I can connect you to them. Also, when you have a chance, please do check us out on our website, www.yodisabledproud.org. And of course, you can find us on online, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I want to thank everybody for coming today and hope you all have a wonderful day.